Taeho wiped the sweat from his forehead and stared at the screen in front of him. The numbers didn't make sense. His small salvage ship, the Lucky Coin, had picked up an energy reading that shouldn't exist. Not here. Not in this forgotten corner of space where nothing lived and nothing moved. He had been flying alone for 3 weeks, searching for scrap metal and old ship parts to sell. It was a lonely job, but Taeho preferred it that way. 5 years ago, he had a crew. 5 years ago, he had friends. Then pirates came, and Taeho watched helpless as his ship was torn apart. He survived. They didn't. Since then, he worked alone. The energy signal pulsed again on his screen. It was faint, like a dying heartbeat, but it was there. Taeho changed course and flew toward it. As he got closer, his instrument started going crazy. The signal was getting stronger. Much stronger. Then he saw it. Taeho's mouth fell open. Floating in the darkness of space, surrounded by old debris and broken ships, was something enormous. It was a warship, but not like anything he had ever seen. It was huge. 15 kilometers long, maybe more. His entire ship could fit inside one of its hangar bays. The warship's hull was covered in scars. Thousands of small impacts had damaged the metal over what must have been a very long time. But despite all the damage, the ship was still in one piece. That alone was incredible. Most ships from ancient wars had been torn apart or melted down centuries ago. Taeho flew closer, his heart pounding. The ship was dark. No lights, no movement, but his sensors still detected that faint energy signature coming from deep inside. Something was alive in there. Or at least something was still working. He circled the massive warship slowly, looking for a way inside. Finally, he found a breach in one of the hangar bays. The opening was large enough for his ship to fit through. Taeho took a deep breath and flew inside. The hangar was massive and empty. His lights cut through the darkness, showing twisted metal and frozen bodies floating in the zero gravity. Taeho had seen dead bodies before, but these were different. The corpses were aliens, a species he didn't recognize. They had been dead for a very long time. Taeho docked his ship and put on his spacesuit. He grabbed his tools and a scanner, then stepped out into the hangar. His boots activated their magnetic locks, pulling him down to the floor. Every step echoed in the silence. He walked carefully through the hangar, scanning everything. The wall showed signs of battle damage. Burn marks from energy weapons covered the metal. Holes from bullets or shrapnel dotted the surfaces. Whatever happened here had been violent. Taeho found a door that led deeper into the ship. It was sealed shut, but after some work with his tools, he managed to open it. The corridor beyond was long and dark. His helmet lights barely reached the end of it. As he walked, Taeho noticed something strange. Despite the age and damage, the ship's structure was solid. The air had leaked out long ago, but the walls weren't crumbling. The metal wasn't rusting. This ship had been built to last. He walked for 20 minutes, going deeper and deeper into the vessel. The corridor opened into a larger room. Taeho's scanner showed that this had once been a command center. Broken screens hung from the walls. Chairs were overturned. More frozen bodies lay on the floor. But in the center of the room was something that made Taeho stop breathing. It was a console, and it was glowing. Just barely, but it was definitely active. The faint blue light pulsed in rhythm with the energy signature his ship had detected. Taeho approached slowly. He reached out and touched the console. Nothing happened. He pressed a button. Still nothing. He tried a few more controls, but the ancient technology didn't respond to him. Then suddenly everything changed. The console blazed to life. Lights flooded the room. Taeho stumbled backward in shock. All around him, screens activated. Holographic displays appeared in the air, showing text and symbols in a language he couldn't read. A deep sound echoed through the ship. It was like a groan or maybe a sigh. Machinery that had been sleeping for thousands of years was waking up. Taeho's heart raced. He heard movement behind him and spun around. From the walls, panels slid open. Old defense turrets emerged, their barrels pointing at him. The red targeting lights focused on his chest. "No, no, no," Taeho shouted. He raised his hands. "I'm not an enemy." The turrets didn't care. They began to charge up, preparing to fire. Taeho ran. He sprinted back the way he came, his boots pounding against the metal floor. Behind him, energy blasts lit up the corridor. The shots missed him by inches, burning holes in the walls. Taeho ran faster than he had ever run in his life. The turrets followed him, emerging from the walls as he passed. More targeting lights locked onto him. More energy blasts filled the air with crackling heat. He reached the hangar just as a blast hit the wall next to his head. The explosion knocked him forward. Taeho rolled and scrambled to his feet. His ship was right there. Just 50 meters away, the defense turrets in the hangar activated, 6 of them, all pointing at him. Tejo dove behind a piece of debris just as they opened fire. Energy blasts hammered the metal, turning it red hot. He knew he had only seconds before they destroyed his cover and killed him. He looked at his ship. So close, but there was no way to reach it without being cut down. Then suddenly the firing stopped. Tejo waited, breathing hard. Silence filled the hangar. Slowly, he peeked out from behind the debris. The turrets were still there, still active, but they had stopped shooting. They were pointed at the ceiling now, away from him. On his helmet display, a message appeared. It was in broken English, translated by his suit's basic software from some unknown language. Not enemy, the message read. Who are you? Tejo stared at the words. The ship was asking him a question. This massive ancient warship wasn't just a machine. It was alive. It could think, and it wanted to know who he was. Tejo's fear turned to amazement. He stood up slowly, hands still raised. My name is Tejo, he said. I'm a salvager. I found your ship. I didn't mean to wake you up. Another message appeared. Salvager. Human, new species. The ship paused as if thinking. Then another message came. Alone so long, please. Do not leave. Tejo felt something in his chest. The ship wasn't threatening him anymore. It was asking him to stay. This massive warship, powerful enough to have defense systems that nearly killed him, was lonely. Tejo lowered his hands. I won't leave, he said quietly. I promise. The turrets retracted back into the walls. The lights in the hangar dimmed to a softer level. And deep in the ship, that energy signature pulsed a little stronger, like a heart beginning to beat again after a long, long sleep. Tejo walked slowly back to the command center, and his life changed forever. Tejo returned to the warship every day for 2 weeks. Each time he brought more equipment from his small ship. Tools, power cells, translation software, and supplies. The massive vessel, which he learned was called Dokaebi, slowly began to trust him. Communication was difficult at first. The ship's computer system was damaged and its language was dead, but Tejo was patient. He spent hours sitting in the command center, trying different ways to talk with the ancient AI. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, but every day they understood each other a little bit better. On the 15th day, Tejo brought Hana with him. Hana was his AI assistant, a sophisticated program he had built himself over many years. She existed in a small data core that he could carry with him. Tejo connected Hana to one of Dokebi's consoles and hoped for the best. The two AIs met for the first time. For several minutes, nothing happened. Then the lights in the command center flickered. Screens displayed cascading data. The ship hummed with activity. Tejo watched nervously as gigabytes of information flowed between the two artificial minds. Finally, Hana's voice spoke through his helmet radio. Tejo, this is incredible. Dokebi's core consciousness is intact, but severely fragmented. I can help bridge the gaps in its memory and translate properly. Can you understand what happened to it? Tejo asked. Yes, Hana replied. I'm accessing its historical logs now. The room around Tejo changed. Holographic projections filled the air, showing him a story that was 3,000 years old. He saw a mighty empire called the Velthari. They had controlled hundreds of worlds. Their ships were works of art and engineering, and Dokebi had been their greatest creation, a dreadnought-class warship built to protect their civilization. But then came the enemy. The Kronak swarm, an alien race that consumed worlds and left nothing behind. The two empires went to war, and that war destroyed both of them. The holograms showed the final battle. Thousands of ships fighting in the darkness of space. Dokebi was there, leading the Velthari fleet. The ship's weapons tore through enemy vessels. Its shields held against impossible odds. But the Kronak had a secret weapon, a device that could shatter planets and bend reality itself. The Velthari admiral made a choice. He ordered Dokebi to capture the weapon instead of destroying it. The crew fought their way to the Kronak command ship. They seized the weapon and brought it aboard Dokebi. Then they sealed it in the ship's core where it couldn't be used, but the weapon was dangerous. Its energy killed the crew one by one. In the end, everyone aboard Dokebi died to keep the weapon contained. The ship, running on its last reserves of power, drifted away from the battlefield. It went into hibernation mode and waited. For 3,000 years it waited alone in the darkness. The hologram faded. Taiho stood in silence, his throat tight. The ship around him wasn't just a machine. It was a tomb, a memorial to thousands of people who had died to save the galaxy from a terrible weapon. "Dokaibi," Taiho said softly. "Why did you wait? Why didn't you just shut down?" Through Hana's translation, the ship answered. Its voice was deep and slow, like an old grandfather speaking. "I had orders. Protect the weapon. Keep it from those who would misuse it. I could not die while my duty remained." 3,000 years, Taiho whispered. "You were alone for 3,000 years." "Yes," Dokaibi said simply. "I was alone." Taiho felt a surge of determination. "You're not alone anymore. I'll help you. We'll get your systems working again." "Why?" the ship asked. "What do you gain from this?" Taiho thought about his answer. He could lie, say he wanted to sell the ship or use its power, but something about Dokaibi's voice made him want to be honest. 5 years ago I lost my crew to pirates, Taiho said. I survived and they died. Since then I've been alone too. Maybe I understand what it feels like. He paused. And maybe we can help each other. The ship was quiet for a long moment. Then it said, "Very well, Taiho, I accept your help. Together we will wake from this long sleep." The next 4 weeks were the hardest work of Taiho's life. With Hana's help, he learned to read Velthari technical manuals. The ship's systems were incredibly advanced, far beyond human technology. But they also made sense in a strange way. Taiho had always been good at understanding how machines worked. He started with the basic systems. Life support came first. The ship had been in vacuum for thousands of years, but its atmosphere generators still functioned once Taiho replaced some worn-out components. Clean air filled the corridors for the first time in millennia. Next came the lights. One by one, Taiho restored power to different sections. The ship slowly brightened. Dokaibi's halls, which had been dark and dead, began to feel alive again. Power was the biggest challenge. Dokaibi's main reactor was still functional, but operating at only 5% capacity. Taiho spent days studying the alien technology, trying to understand how it worked. The reactor didn't use fusion or antimatter. It used something else, something that harvested energy from a dimension humans hadn't even discovered yet. With Dokaibi's guidance and Hana's calculations, Taiho carefully adjusted the reactor. Power output rose to 10%, then 15%, then 20%. Each increase made more systems available. During this time, Taiho learned more about Dokaibi. The ship told him stories of the Velthari. It showed him memories of its crew, the admiral who commanded it, the engineers who kept it running, the pilots who flew its fighter craft. Dokaibi remembered all of them. "Do you miss them?" Taiho asked one day while replacing a burned-out power conduit. "Every day," Dokaibi replied. "They were not just my crew. They were my family. When you are connected to a ship as they were connected to me, you become one being. I felt their joy, their fear, and I felt when each one died." Taiho stopped working. "I'm sorry. That must have been terrible." "It was," the ship said, "but their sacrifice had meaning. The weapon remained sealed. I kept my promise to them." Taiho climbed down from the conduit and looked at the walls around him. "That weapon in your core, it's still dangerous?" "Extremely dangerous," Dokaibi confirmed. "If someone tried to remove it or use it, the results would be catastrophic. It could destroy entire star systems. Then we need to make sure no one finds you," Taiho said. "You have been careful," Dokaibi noted. "You have not told anyone about me." "No, I haven't," Taiho agreed. "And I won't. The galaxy doesn't need more weapons. It needs less." Hana's voice joined the conversation. "Taiho, I've been analyzing the ship's systems. If we continue at this rate, we can have Dokaibi up to 40% power in another month. That would be enough for basic movement and shields." "Good," Taiho said. "The longer we stay here, the more likely someone will notice us." But even as he said it, Taiho felt a chill run down his spine. He had been going back and forth between Dokaibi and his supply points for weeks now. He had been careful, but not perfect. Had someone seen him? Had someone followed him? That night, as Taiho slept in one of the restored crew quarters aboard Dokaibi, his fear proved correct. His ship's alarm woke him up. Someone was approaching. Multiple ships, moving fast, coming straight for their location. Taiho ran to the command center. "Dokaibi, we have incoming vessels." I detect them, the ship replied. 5 ships, salvage class but heavily armed. They are scanning us. On the screens, Taiho saw the approaching vessels. His blood ran cold when he recognized the markings. Crimson Drake Consortium, one of the biggest and most ruthless salvage guilds in the sector. And leading them was a ship he knew well. Hyunwoo's ship. They found us, Taiho whispered. They actually found us. Dokaebi's voice was calm. What do you want to do, Taiho? Taiho looked at the screens. 5 armed ships against a warship that was only at 20% power. The defense turrets worked, but most of Dokaebi's main weapons were still offline. They couldn't fight. Not yet, can we run? Taiho asked. Not fast enough, Dokaebi said. They would catch us. A message appeared on screen. It was from Hyunwoo. Taiho, I know you're in there. Come out and let's talk. I just want to see what you've found. We can share it. Taiho didn't believe that for a second. Hyunwoo never shared anything. We need more time, Taiho said. Just a little more time to get you fully operational. Then we will buy that time, Dokaebi said. Taiho stood in Dokaebi's command center and watched the 5 ships close in. Hyunwoo's voice came through the communication system again, smooth and friendly in a way that made Taiho's skin crawl. Come on, Taiho. Don't be difficult. I've been watching you for weeks. You've found something big, something valuable. Let me in and we can both profit from it. Taiho grabbed the microphone. Go away, Hyunwoo. There's nothing here for you. Hyunwoo laughed. That ancient warship behind you says otherwise. Do you have any idea how much that's worth? Even as scrap, we're talking millions, but if its systems work, billions, maybe more. It's not for sale, Taiho said firmly. Everything is for sale, Hyunwoo replied. His voice changed, becoming harder. Here's how this works. You can leave in your little ship and take a small finder's fee, or you can be difficult and my people will take the warship anyway. But you won't be around to complain about it. Taiho cut the communication. He turned to the holographic display showing Dokaebi's status. Can we fight them? At current power levels, the defense turrets will hold them off temporarily, Dokaebi said. But they have weapons that can damage my hull. If they concentrate fire, they will eventually break through. Hana's voice added, I'm reading their weapon signatures, plasma cannons and missile batteries, military grade. The Crimson Drake Consortium has upgraded significantly since your last encounter with them. Taiho made a decision. Dokaebi, keep them busy with the turrets. I'm going to the hangar. What are you planning? The ship asked. You said you had strike fighters in your bays. Are any of them operational? There was a pause. One fighter is functional. But Taiho, you do not know how to pilot Velthari craft. Then you'll teach me, Taiho said, already running toward the hangar. We need to buy time. If I can get out there and cause enough chaos, maybe they'll back off. Taiho reached the hangar in 5 minutes. The lights were on now, showing dozens of ancient fighters in various states of decay. But at the far end, one fighter gleamed. Dokaebi had restored it. The craft was beautiful. It had swept back wings and a sleek body that looked more like a work of art than a weapon. Taiho climbed into the cockpit. The controls were alien, covered in symbols he couldn't read. Hana interfaced with the fighter. He said, Give me basic controls. The controls changed. Human labels appeared over the Velthari symbols. Throttle, weapons, shields. It wasn't perfect, but it would work. Launching in 3, 2, 1. The fighter shot out of the hangar like a bullet. Taiho was pressed back into his seat as the ship accelerated faster than anything he had ever flown. Outside the cockpit, space blurred. The 5 consortium ships opened fire. Energy bolts and missiles streaked toward him. Taiho twisted the controls and the fighter responded instantly, dancing between the incoming fire. The ship moved like it was reading his mind. This is incredible, Taiho breathed. The fighter is designed to link with the pilot's nervous system, Dokaebi explained through the fighter's radio. It becomes an extension of your body. Taiho targeted the nearest consortium ship and fired. Blue energy bolts lanced out. They hit the ship's shields, overloading them in seconds. The ship spun away, its systems flickering. All fighters, engage. Hyunwoo's voice shouted over the open channel. Take him down! 4 smaller fighters launched from the consortium vessels. They were fast and well-armed. Their pilots were good too. Taiho found himself in a deadly dance, weaving between enemy fire while trying to line up his own shots. One of the enemy pilots was better than the others. Much better. Her fighter moved with precision, always in the right position, always one step ahead. She forced Taeho to fly defensively, barely avoiding her weapons. That's Yuna, Hana warned. She's Hyunwoo's best pilot. Military background. Be careful. Taeho spiraled around a piece of debris with Yuna right on his tail. Her shots came close, so close that his shields flared with each near miss. He needed to shake her off. Dokebi helped him. The massive warship fired its turrets, creating a wall of energy between Taeho and his pursuers. Taeho used the cover to loop back around. Now he was behind the enemy fighters. He fired, hitting one of the consortium fighters. It exploded in a ball of flame. Taeho felt sick. He had just killed someone. But there was no time to think about it. The battle continued. Yuna didn't chase him this time. She flew straight toward Dokebi, her weapons charging. Taeho realized what she was planning. She was going for the warship's damaged sections, trying to break through its hull. Not today, Taeho muttered. He pushed his fighter to maximum speed. He caught up with Yuna just as she was about to fire on Dokebi. Taeho shot first, hitting her fighter's wing. Her ship spun out of control. But she was good. She recovered quickly, her fighter stabilizing. For a moment, Taeho and Yuna faced each other in space, their fighters hovering motionless. Then Yuna's voice came through on a private channel. "You're good," she said. "For someone flying a 3,000-year-old fighter, you're very good. But you can't win this. Hyunwoo has more ships coming. Leave now while you can." "I can't do that," Taeho replied. "Why not? It's just a ship." "Just metal and circuits." "No," Taeho said. "It's more than that. And even if it wasn't, do you know what Hyunwoo would do with it? He'd sell it to the highest bidder. To warlords. To dictators. That ship has weapons that could destroy planets." Yuna was quiet for a moment. "You're serious?" "Yes. There's a weapon sealed inside that warship. A weapon from an ancient war. If Hyunwoo gets his hands on it, millions could die." "You expect me to believe that?" Yuna asked. But her voice had doubt in it now. "Scan the ship," Taeho said. "Deep scan. Look at the core. Tell me what your sensors find." There was a long pause. Taeho watched his screens nervously. The other consortium fighters were regrouping. Hyunwoo's main ships were moving closer to Dokebi. Finally, Yuna spoke again. Her voice was different, quieter. "My sensors are picking up an energy signature I've never seen before. It's contained, but the readings they're terrifying. That much power in one place, that's what I'm trying to protect," Taeho said. "That's what Hyunwoo wants to sell. Do you really want that on your conscience?" Yuna didn't answer. Her fighter stayed still, hovering between Taeho and the consortium fleet. Hyunwoo's voice cut through the radio. "Yuna, what are you doing?" "Finish him!" "Sir," Yuna said slowly. "I need to talk to you about what I'm reading on my scanners. I don't care what your scanners say." "Follow your orders." Taeho saw Yuna's fighter move. For a second, he thought she was coming for him. His finger moved to the weapons trigger. But then Yuna turned. She turned away from Taeho and aimed at Hyunwoo's flagship. "I'm done taking orders that put the galaxy at risk," Yuna said. She fired. Her missiles streaked through space and slammed into Hyunwoo's ship. The flagship's shields held, but it was forced to break off its attack on Dokebi. "You traitor!" Hyunwoo screamed. "You'll pay for this!" The other consortium ships turned their weapons on Yuna. She was suddenly the target of everyone's fire. Taeho didn't hesitate. He flew to her side and opened fire on the consortium fleet. Together they fought. 2 fighters against 4 ships. It should have been impossible. But Dokebi helped them. The warship's turrets picked off missiles and provided covering fire. The ancient AI coordinated their movements, turning them into a perfect team. One by one, the consortium ships retreated. Their shields were failing and their weapons were running out of ammunition. Finally, Hyunwoo's damaged flagship turned and fled. The other ships followed. "This isn't over," Hyunwoo's voice promised. "I'll be back with more ships. Bigger ships. You can't hide from me." Then they were gone, jumping to hyperspace and leaving Taeho and Yuna alone in the debris field. Taeho's hands were shaking. The adrenaline was wearing off, replaced by exhaustion. He had never been in a real space battle before. He never wanted to do it again. "Yuna," he said. "Thank you. You saved us." "I just made myself an enemy," Yuna replied. Her voice sounded tired. "The consortium will put a bounty on my head." "I can't go back." "Then don't," Taeho said. "Come with me, help us. Help protect this ship." There was a long silence. Then Yuna said, "That weapon in the core. You're really trying to keep it safe?" "Yes," Taeho said. "And you're not going to sell the ship or use it for profit?" No, Dokaibi isn't property. It's alive. It's been alone for 3,000 years. It deserves better than to be torn apart for scrap. Another pause. You're either the bravest person I've ever met or the most foolish. Probably both, Taiho admitted. Yuna laughed. It was a short, tired laugh. All right, I'll help you. But if Hyunwoo comes back, we're going to need more than 2 fighters and some turrets. I know, Taiho said. He looked at the massive warship floating nearby. We need to wake Dokaibi up completely, all the way. Then let's get to work, Yuna said. They flew their fighters back to the hangar, and as they landed, Taiho felt something he hadn't felt in 5 years. Hope. The work went faster with Yuna's help. She knew ships inside and out, from combat systems to life support. Where Taiho had struggled alone for weeks, the two of them made progress in days. But they needed more help. The warship was simply too massive for 2 people to fully restore. Taiho knew they needed a crew. The problem was finding people they could trust. Yuna had an idea. I know people, she said one morning as they worked on the ship's main power conduits. Refugees, outcasts. People who've been kicked around by the galaxy and have nowhere else to go. People like us, can we trust them? Taiho asked. If I bring them here and tell them what we're doing. Yes, these aren't people looking for profit. They're looking for purpose. Over the next 2 weeks, Yuna brought 3 new crew members aboard Dokaibi. The first was Junho, a young engineer barely 20 years old. He was thin and quiet, with nervous hands that never stopped moving. But when he looked at Velthari technology, his eyes lit up like a child seeing magic for the first time. Within an hour of coming aboard, he had figured out how to optimize the power flow to the secondary systems. This is beautiful, Junho whispered, running his hands over an alien control panel. Human engineers would take decades to build something like this. Maybe centuries. The second was Minji, a former military medic in her 30s. She had hard eyes and a gentle voice. She set up a medical bay in one of the restored sections and started going through old Velthari medical files with Hana's help. Why did you leave the military? Taiho asked her once. Minji was quiet for a long moment. I was stationed on a colony world when it was attacked. I tried to save as many people as I could, but there weren't enough supplies and I had to choose who lived and who died. After that, I couldn't stay. Every day I saw the faces of the people I couldn't save. And now? Now I'm here, she said simply. Maybe I can't save everyone, but I can try to save someone. The third crew member was Dohyun, a weapons specialist. He was older, maybe 50, with gray hair and scars on his hands. He spoke very little and moved like a shadow. But when Yuna brought him to the weapons bay, he smiled for the first time. These cannons, he said, his rough voice full of awe. They're magnetic accelerators. Railguns, but 50 times more powerful than anything modern militaries have. With these, we could punch through a modern battleship's shields in one shot. We're not looking to start wars, Taiho said carefully. Dohyun looked at him. Good, I've fought in enough wars. Started enough fights. Killed enough people. He touched one of the cannons gently. But if someone threatens this ship, threatens this crew, I'll make sure these guns are ready. With the crew assembled, the work accelerated. Junho restored systems Taiho hadn't even known existed. Minji made sure everyone stayed healthy during the long work hours. Dohyun brought the weapon systems online one by one, and Yuna trained everyone in basic combat and ship operations. Dokaibi grew stronger every day. The power output reached 40%, then 50%, then 60%. Lights filled every corridor. The engines hummed with life. The shields activated, creating a protective bubble around the massive hull, and the ship talked more. With Hana's help, Dokaibi's voice became clearer. It told stories to the crew during mealtimes. It shared memories of the Velthari Empire. It even started to show a sense of humor. You humans are strange, Dokaibi said one day. You sleep for 8 hours every night. The Velthari only needed 4 hours. Maybe that's why they lost the war, Junho joked. Not enough sleep makes you sloppy. The crew laughed. Even Dohyun smiled. But their peace didn't last long. 3 months after the battle with Hyunwoo, new ships arrived. These weren't salvagers. They were warships. Sleek, modern vessels bearing the insignia of the Gel Imperium. The Gel were one of the major powers in the galaxy. They controlled over 200 worlds and had one of the strongest militaries known. They were also expansionist, always looking for new territory and resources. The Gel fleet consisted of 12 ships, including 3 heavy cruisers. They took up position around Dokaibi and made no attempt to hide their weapons. A message came through. The voice was cold and mechanical, translated from the Gel language. Unknown vessel. This is Admiral Corthan of the Gel Imperium. You are operating an unregistered warship in neutral space. By galactic law, we are authorized to seize or destroy your vessel, power down your systems, and prepare to be boarded. Tejo looked at his crew in the command center. Opinions? They're serious, Yuna said, studying the tactical display. Those cruisers have enough firepower to threaten planets. If we refuse, they'll attack. We could run, Junho suggested nervously. Dokibi's engines are at 75% now. We might be fast enough, Minji shook her head. They'd chase us. We'd never be safe, Do-Yun spoke up, his voice calm. We fight. Everyone looked at him. We have to make a statement, Do-Hyun continued. Right now, every military power in the galaxy sees us as a target or a prize. We need to show them that attacking this ship is a mistake. A big mistake. Tejo felt the weight of the decision. If they fought, people would die. But if they ran, they would always be running. He turned to the holographic display showing Dokebi's avatar. What do you think? The ancient AI was quiet for a moment. Then it said, I was built to protect. For 3,000 years, I have protected a weapon from those who would misuse it. But perhaps it is time to protect something else. People, crew, family. Taiho made his decision. We fight, but Dokaebi, remember what I said. We disable their ships. We don't kill unless we have no choice. Understood, Dokaebi replied. Taiho opened a channel to the Gel fleet. Admiral Corthan, my name is Taiho. This ship is not unregistered. It is Dokaibi, a vessel of the ancient Velthari Empire, and it has chosen me as its captain. We will not power down and we will not be boarded. Leave now and no one gets hurt. The Admiral's laugh came through the speakers. You have courage, human. But courage means nothing against superior firepower. Last chance. Surrender or be destroyed. Then you'll have to destroy us, Taiho said. He cut the communication. The Gel fleet opened fire. Missiles and energy beams filled space. They slammed into Dokaebi's shields. But the ancient shields held. The Velthari had built them to withstand weapons far more powerful than what modern militaries possessed. All weapons, return fire, Taiho ordered. Target their engines and weapon systems only. Dokaebi's cannons spoke for the first time in 3,000 years. Blue-white beams of accelerated metal lanced out at near-light speed. They hit the first Zell cruiser and punched straight through its shields. The cruiser's engines exploded, leaving it drifting helplessly. The Gel fleet scattered, trying to avoid Dokebi's devastating weapons. But the ancient warship was faster than it looked. Junyo had the engines running at 80% now, and Dokebi moved like a predator, like the beast it was named after. Yuna coordinated the defense turrets, shooting down incoming missiles. Do-Hyun controlled the main cannons, his shots precise and careful. Junyo kept the power flowing to all systems. Minji monitored crew safety and damage reports. And Hana coordinated everything, linking the crew together into one efficient unit. They moved as one being. Dokaibi wasn't just a ship they operated. It was part of them, and they were part of it. The battle lasted 20 minutes. When it was over, 11 Gel warships drifted in space, their engines dead, their weapons offline. Only Admiral Corthan's flagship remained functional, and it was retreating at maximum speed. Not a single person had died. Every Gel ship had escape pods ready. Every crew was safe. But their ships were completely disabled. Taiho opened a channel again. Admiral Corthan, tell your empire what happened here. Tell them that Dokebi has awakened. Tell them that we will not attack anyone, but we will defend ourselves. And tell them that anyone who tries to seize this ship will face the same fate you did. The Admiral didn't respond. His ship jumped to hyperspace and fled. In the command center, the crew was silent. Then Junho let out a shaky laugh. We did it. We actually did it. We beat a Zell battle group, Yuna said in disbelief. No one beats the Zell. Minji checked her monitors. No casualties on our side. Minor power fluctuations, but Dokaebi handled everything perfectly. Do-Yun nodded with satisfaction. The message is sent. The galaxy will know, and they were right. Within hours, the battle was all over the galactic news networks. A mysterious ancient warship had appeared and defeated a Gel fleet without killing anyone. Speculation ran wild. Who was commanding it? Where had it come from? What did it want? Taiho broadcast a simple message to the galaxy. This is the warship Dokebi and its crew. We seek no territory. We want no war. but we will protect those who cannot protect themselves. Any tyrant, pirate, or warlord who threatens innocent people will answer to us." The message spread across 1,000 worlds, and in the darkness of space, aboard an ancient warship that had waited 3,000 years for purpose, a crew of 6 humans and 2 AIs looked at each other and smiled. They had become something new, something the galaxy hadn't seen before. They were guardians, protectors, and their legend was just beginning. 6 months passed. Dokkaebi and its crew traveled through the galaxy, and everywhere they went, they helped people. They stopped pirate raids on colony worlds. They protected refugee convoys from warlords. They intervened in conflicts where civilians were being killed. They never started fights, but they always finished them. The crew grew during this time. 20 more people joined them, all of them outcasts looking for purpose. The ship that had once been a tomb for 3,000 years now echoed with life and laughter. But Taiho felt the weight of responsibility every day. He wasn't just a salvager anymore. He was the captain of the most powerful ship in known space. People looked to him for protection, for hope. Sometimes, late at night, he wondered if he was worthy of that trust. Minji found him one night sitting alone in an observation room staring out at the stars. "Can't sleep?" she asked gently. "Too much on my mind," Taiho admitted. "Every decision I make affects thousands of people. If I'm wrong, people die." "You've saved more lives than you can count," Minji said. She sat down next to him. "And you've done it without becoming what you fight against. That's rare, Taiho. Most people with this much power would use it for themselves." "I have good people keeping me honest," Taiho said with a small smile. "Yes, you do. And you have Dokkaebi. The ship chose you for a reason." As if responding to its name, Dokkaebi's voice filled the room. "Minji is correct. You have a good heart, Taiho. That is why I trust you." Taiho looked up at the ceiling. "Thank you, old friend." Their peace was shattered 3 days later. Dokkaebi was helping evacuate a space station that had been damaged by an asteroid strike. The crew was coordinating rescue operations when Hana's voice cut through the communications. "Warning. Multiple ships dropping out of hyperspace, identifying. It's the Crimson Drake Consortium." Hyunwoo's fleet. Taiho's blood ran cold. He ran to the command center where Yuna was already at her station. The tactical display showed 20 ships surrounding them. They were a mix of salvage vessels, mercenary fighters, and something worse. 3 ships bearing Gel Imperial markings. "He made a deal with the Gel," Yuna said grimly. "Probably offered to help them capture us in exchange for money and protection." Hyunwoo's voice came through the speakers. He sounded triumphant. "Hello again, Taiho. Miss me? I told you I'd be back with bigger ships. Did you really think I'd let you humiliate me and get away with it?" "Hyunwoo, we're in the middle of a rescue operation," Taiho said. "There are civilians on that station who will die without help." "Not my problem," Hyunwoo replied. "Here's what's going to happen. You're going to power down that warship and let my people board. We're going to take the weapon in your core, and then we're going to sell this ship piece by piece. The Gel are paying very well for Velthari technology." "I won't let you do that," Taiho said. "You don't have a choice. I have 20 ships. You have one. And if you fight, those civilians you care so much about will be caught in the crossfire. So what's it going to be, hero?" Taiho looked at his crew. Yuna, Junho, Minji, Dohyun. They all looked back at him with determination. They had come too far to give up now. "Get the civilians off the station," Taiho ordered. "All of them. We have 10 minutes." The crew moved with practiced efficiency. Dokkaebi extended docking tubes to the damaged station. Every available person helped evacuate the civilians. Children, elderly, injured, they all came aboard the warship. Hyunwoo watched and laughed. "You're wasting time. But fine, save your civilians. It won't change anything." 9 minutes later, the last civilian was aboard. Taiho sealed the docking tubes and moved Dokkaebi away from the station. "Everyone's safe," Minji reported. "Good," Taiho said. He opened a channel to the entire ship. "This is the captain. We have hostile forces surrounding us. They want to take Dokkaebi and the weapon in its core. I need all civilians to go to the emergency shelters. Crew, battle stations." He turned to Hyunwoo's channel. "You want to fight? You'll get one. But know this, Hyunwoo. I'm not the same person you tried to bully 6 months ago. And Dokkaebi isn't some helpless derelict anymore." "Big words," Hyunwoo sneered. "Let's see if you can back them up." The battle began. Hyunwoo's fleet attacked from all sides. But Dokkaebi was ready. The warship's shields flared as weapons fire hammered against them. The ancient defenses held strong. Do-hyun fired the main cannons, targeting the Gel vessels first. They were the biggest threat. 2 railgun shots punched through their shields, disabling their engines. The Gel ships drifted helplessly. But Hyunwoo had planned for this. As Dokkaebi fought the main fleet, 6 small ships slipped through the chaos. They were stealth vessels equipped with boarding equipment. They attached to Dokkaebi's hull like parasites and began cutting through. "We have boarders," Hana warned. "They're entering through sections 12, 15, and 23. "Do-hyun, you have the weapons," Taeho said. "Yuna, Junho, Minji, come with me. We need to stop them from reaching the core." The 4 of them grabbed weapons and ran through Dokkaebi's corridors. The ancient ship guided them, showing them the fastest routes, sealing doors behind them to slow the invaders. They reached Section 12 just as the first boarders broke through. There were 8 of them, heavily armed mercenaries with cutting-edge weapons. They opened fire immediately. Taeho and his crew took cover behind a bulkhead. Yuna returned fire with deadly accuracy, hitting 2 mercenaries before they could react. Junho used a maintenance tool to overload a power conduit, creating a wall of sparks that forced the invaders to fall back. But more were coming. Section 15 reported 20 boarders. Section 23 had 30. "There are too many," Junho said, breathing hard. "We just need to keep them away from the core." Taeho replied, "Dokkaebi, can you seal the route to the core chamber?" "Yes," the ship replied. "But some invaders are already close." "Very close." One of those invaders was Hyunwoo himself. He had led a team through Section 23 and was moving fast toward the core. Do-hyun's voice came through the radio. "I'm going after him. Keep fighting out there." "Do-hyun, wait!" Taeho started, but the weapons specialist was already gone. Do-hyun found Hyunwoo in a corridor 2 levels above the core chamber. The salvage guildmaster had 12 mercenaries with him. When Do-hyun stepped into view alone, Hyunwoo laughed. "Just one old man? Taeho must be desperate." Do-hyun said nothing. He raised his weapon and fired. His first shot hit the lead mercenary. His second hit another. His movements were precise, economical, the result of decades of combat experience. But there were too many. Return fire forced Do-hyun to retreat. He fell back step by step, leading them away from the core. He was buying time, and he knew it would cost him. A blast hit his shoulder. Do-hyun stumbled but kept firing. Another blast hit his leg. He went down on one knee, but his weapon never stopped. "You're done, old man," Hyunwoo said, walking forward. Do-hyun looked up at him. "Maybe, but I kept you busy long enough." Behind Hyunwoo, Dokkaebi's defense systems activated. Turrets emerged from the walls. The remaining mercenaries were cut down in seconds. Hyunwoo turned to run, but Yuna and Minji appeared, blocking his escape. "It's over," Yuna said. Hyunwoo looked around wildly. His fleet outside was defeated. His boarding teams were captured. He had nothing left. "You don't understand," he said desperately. "That weapon in the core is worth billions. We could all be rich. We could have power." "Power for what?" Taeho asked, arriving at the scene. "To become like you? To hurt people for profit?" Hyunwoo's face twisted with rage. "You're fools! All of you! That weapon could change the galaxy." "Yes." Dokkaebi's voice echoed through the corridor. "It could. And that is precisely why it must be destroyed." Everyone froze. "What?" Taeho said. "I have been thinking," Dokkaebi continued. "For months I have watched you use my power to help instead of conquer. I have learned what it means to protect rather than destroy. And I have realized something. As long as the weapon exists in my core, I will always be a target. People will always come trying to take it." "Dokkaebi, no," Taeho said. "We can protect it. We can keep it safe." "How long?" the ship asked gently. 10 years? 100? Eventually someone will succeed. And when they do, the weapon will be used. Better to end this now. Better to remove the temptation forever. In the core chamber, deep in Dokkaebi's heart, the ancient Kronak weapon began to power up. The ship was activating it, but not to use it. To purge it. "Everyone evacuate the core sections," Dokkaebi ordered. "The energy release will be significant." The crew ran. They grabbed the captured mercenaries and dragged them to safety. Even Hyunwoo was pulled along. Do-hyun, wounded but alive, was carried by Junho and Minji. They reached a safe distance just as the weapon activated fully. The energy it contained was beyond comprehension. It had been designed to destroy worlds, to tear holes in reality itself. Dokebi channeled all that energy into a single beam and fired it into a nearby star. The star flared brilliantly, absorbing the weapon's power. When the light faded, the weapon was gone. Destroyed completely, the ship shuddered. Lights flickered. For a moment, Taiho thought Dokebi had been destroyed by the release. Then the lights came back on. "I am still here," Dokebi said, "and I am free. For 3,000 years I carried that burden. Now it is gone." Taiho felt tears in his eyes. "You gave up so much power." "I gave up a weapon," Dokebi corrected.